I think, most new investor got a bit, too euphoric about those new vehicles. They just believed, like when you believe in politicians claiming that they will cut the debt, that they will give you money, that the economy in 2 years will be booming. How can you believe this if you already see in the last 50 years that nothing can even close? So I think in this case was something similar. Nothing is fraudulent in saying that this is your mission, but if you keep saying it a lot of times and on the other side you have superficial investors that they don't do any kind of due diligence, analytics, and understanding that is impossible, is technically impossible, then you might face this kind of price action, which is, to be honest, it's horrific.
Yes,
we can
totally.
say whatever we want, but this chart is horrible. Imagine to do the buy the dip here at 22, then you do buy the dip at 15, then you do buy the dip at 13, then you buy the dip at 11, thinking, wow, 11 is 70% down from the top. Now the stock is trading at 1. So buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. So now you see people depressed in the space. They understand that they lost 99% of their capital against Bitcoin, and that this amount of capital will never, and I want to stress this point, they will never get to the all-time high for Nakamoto. It's impossible. There is no chance. So yeah, it's sad to see, but was pretty easy to spot.
Hello, this is the Bitcoin Libertarian, and here we are again with another episode of Bitcoin Treasury Company Report. Today, only the OGs. Diego was not able to come today, and Andrea the same. We switch the day for Sunday, and today the two
Only
OGs.
for today and the next one.
Yes, only for today and next one. But as you have to know, we upload every Monday 9 p.m. in YouTube and Rumble. So this is fixed. Then the live stream can be Saturday, can be Sunday, but we want to do on the weekend. So Marco, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Fernando. Thanks for having me once again. And maybe we can just share briefly the agenda for the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You want to go?
Maybe. Yeah, I would say we can start with some movements on the Bitcoin equity space. So maybe we can start with Nakamoto. What happened? Maybe give also a brief introduction on the company, some more highlights. Then I think we will move on Capital B, so the blockchain group, and see also with them some price action and some, maybe more information about how the debt is structured, how the company is growing. And then some other topics maybe that came out from the conference in New York. So maybe we can have some discussion there.
Excellent. So let's move to the first topic. The first topic is Nakamoto. I don't follow too much this company, but I end up discovering that the price drop a lot. Probably I'm checking here that is around 96% decline. And yesterday I jumped into a video of a Spanish YouTuber that was talking about that this is a bubble because the prices from the start of the summer to now of all the companies are falling. So I want to discuss this, what happened with Nakamoto and what happened, and what can we expect of Bitcoin Treasury companies. We already talked about this in a video that I will upload in our Rumble channel because it was taken down for YouTube. And again, what is your take, Marco?
So Fernando, yes, I think we covered for the last months about the euphoria about the equity space in Bitcoin, and somehow we were a bit skeptical about some of them, not in terms of the ideology behind it, because for me the ideology is great. Everything is supporting Bitcoin. Everything is to try to hyper Bitcoinize the world. So we are not against the ethos at all. We are not even against how those companies trying to explore different way of raising capital, of adding Bitcoin, using cash flow, using debt, using creativity. We just wanted to try to give some red flags on the price action of those companies, because share price is sometimes completely detached from reality, is completely detached from any fundamentals. And so if you are like a naive investor, a new person coming in the space, you might get attracted about these crazy, green returns, but there is no correlation with the multiple, there is no correlation with the future acquisition of Bitcoin, etc. So I just want to, this is the landing page of Nakamoto. The Nakamoto is, as we know, they completed a merge with an already publicly traded company, which was named Kindly. So they've done this merger, now trading under the ticker Naka. Behind Nakamoto, there was plenty of big names. So maybe I can just see here the team. So we have David Bailey from the Bitcoin magazine, very inside the Bitcoin space, inside the lobby in the US, very acknowledged person.
Let me add my point. David Bailey closed the Bitcoin conference, the Bitcoin Asia conference, together with Eric Trump. He was talking with Eric Trump, and he's very well connected with the Trump family. So
100%. Then there is inside, other, big names from like Tyler Evans from also UTXO management. Then we have other name, and they also raise a lot of capital from Adam Beck and from others. So the premises is very, the structure is good, the structure is legit, and the structure is very, very powerful. My argument against this kind of small treasury companies, the claim that they want to have in the future. Because if you see here on phase one, so fund the Nakamoto Bitcoin Treasury, objective, acquire 1 million Bitcoin, known as one Nakamoto. I mean, our audience know exactly that Bitcoin is capped. Bitcoin has 21 million coin. And just to give an idea, Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet has 1 million Bitcoin, and he was able to acquire those 1 million Bitcoin via the mining on the very early days of the protocol without anybody around. And every 10 minutes, he got accrued 50 Bitcoin. Today, Strategy has 636,000 Bitcoin after 5 years of demolishing any records, destroying any way of raising capital. So my idea is, how is that possible that a new company in 2025, and they only have 5,000 Bitcoin, they can go publicly and say that they want to stack 1 million? It's impossible. Not even close. In any possible scenario, there is 0% chance that Nakamoto can reach 1 million, that even other companies, also in the past, I did a video analyzing Metaplanet, Capital B, and Semler. They've all done grandiose statement, and in my opinion, all of them will fail. Not fail as a company, but fail in the claim of reaching these insane targets, because it won't be possible. So I think they created an incredible hype, and then investor over time realized that these hypes are completely detached from reality. And then also we had some other, information on the back side of the company, and maybe I can also share here the screen on the share price. So maybe then, Fernando, we can discuss together this part. So let me see.
yes, I think I agree with you saying that 1 million Bitcoin, accumulating 1 million Bitcoin is something crazy. Not even if Strategy today says we want to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, it's very hard for them. Even with 6,000, almost 700,000, it's very difficult. See the last purchases of Strategy. They are purchasing 500 Bitcoin, 200 Bitcoin. They are not purchasing huge amount of Bitcoin. So claiming that they are going to raise money and buy 1 million Bitcoin when we all know that nobody can create new Bitcoin is crazy. And I agree with you. There is zero chance to reach this number.
Yeah. And again, I'm sticking with my original idea and framework that Strategy is different also because they announce capital raises in dollar terms, not in Bitcoin terms. Because if you do, it's already very hard to set an increase, and a big number like in Strategy, like $42 billion. It's an insane amount of capital, and it's already very, very hard to reach. Can you imagine to say that you want to raise a fixed amount of Bitcoin, not knowing that Bitcoin is moving, like, the volatility historically is very high, will be higher than today in both directions, but normally over a longer time frame to the upside. So, claiming that you want to reach 1 million Bitcoin when you have 5,000 is hilarious. I
the
cannot say
same.
not say it's fraudulent because it's a statement, it's a mission. But after all, I think it's completely insane and impossible to reach. So now those companies maybe are facing more pressure.
Yeah, it's the same as I said. I want to have 6-pack for next week. So
Yeah,
it's a statement, but of course we all know that it's impossible. Probably I can have a 6-pack of beer, but not a 6-pack of apps in 1 week.
join you
So
pack of beers, Fernando. I can join you. Yeah. So again, I think most new investor got a bit too too euphoric about those new vehicles. They just believed, like when you believe in politicians claiming that they will cut the debt, that they will give you money, that the economy in 2 years will be booming. How can you believe this if you already see in the last 50 years that nothing can even close? So I think in this case was something similar. Nothing is fraudulent in saying that this is your mission, but if you keep saying it a lot of times, and on the other side you have superficial investors that they don't do any kind of due diligence, analytics, and understanding that is impossible, is technically impossible, then you might face this kind of price action, which is, to be honest, it's horrific. We
yes,
can say
totally.
whatever we want, but this chart is horrible.
Yes,
So
of course. It looks like, again, to the critics of the Bitcoin Treasury companies, it looks like a shitcoin, the graphic.
maybe even worse, Fernando, maybe
Yeah,
even worse.
yeah, maybe even worse. So the
I
point is
think
that, yes,
So, I mean, yeah, let's see here. Imagine to do the buy the dip. Buy the dip here at 22. Then you do buy the dip at 15. Then you do buy the dip at 13. Then you buy the dip at 11. Thinking, wow, 11, it's 70% down from the top. Now the stock is trading at 1. So buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. So now you see people depressed in the space. They understand that they lost 99% of their capital against Bitcoin, and that this amount of capital will never, and I want to stress this point, that will never get to the all-time high for Nakamoto. It's impossible. There is no chance. So yeah, it's sad to see, but was pretty easy to spot.
yeah, that's the point. And you talk about this, I think last week, that the only asset that is worth to buy the dip is Bitcoin, not shitcoins, not stocks, even Bitcoin treasury companies.
Even strategy,
That's
I'm
the point.
yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Not even strategy. That's the point. And do you think that all this problem, because now with this happening, all the critics of the Bitcoin treasury companies put all the treasury companies in a bag and say, this is a bubble. So we told you that this was the shitcoins of this cycle. You think that these problems that is facing Nakamoto, and for sure will be facing other treasury companies in the future, will affect the whole ecosystem of Bitcoin treasury companies?
To be honest, for me, the bubble is when something goes up and then goes to zero or close to zero. In this case, you can see maybe some specific company behaving like a bubble, but it's completely different than say that the industry is a bubble. So in my view is some specific company that went too far in the claims, too far or too quickly, and they got too euphoric, and the investors, the retails normally got too euphoric. Those retail got wrecked. Those retail needs to learn a lesson that easy money doesn't exist, verticality doesn't sustain, that if you buy something at 10,000%, it's your problem. But it's not for me a bubble in the sense of the entire industry. So people need to understand that one stock, when you buy equity, you buy the specific stock, you buy the trust of the team, you buy the specific way of raising capital, in our case for a company. This company might be not well managed, can fail for whichever reason, but there is no correlation with Bitcoin being a bubble or the industry set up by strategy being a bubble. So for me, no, there is no systemic risk at this stage, because even if strategy suffers, even if Metaplanet go bankrupt, even if those other companies go bankrupt, because Strategy for me, there is no chance as of today in terms of balance sheet power, etc., to go bust. But let's say all the rest go bust. I don't know, 40,000 BTC, 50,000 BTC to get liquidated. Is it a bubble? No.
Oh, and I think that I'm citing this guy, this Spanish YouTuber that was saying that it's a bubble because it fall. By the way, I will have this guy in the podcast in November, talking in Spanish, speaking in Spanish, and he says it's a bubble because from the beginning of summer to now, all the companies drop the price in I don't know how much percent, but a huge amount percent. I agree with you. There are going to be a lot of companies that are bubbles, a lot of companies that will crash, a lot of companies doing this. I am not going to say false claiming, but misleading people in telling we are going to raise 1 billion Bitcoin. And people say, okay, because one of the things that happen and is something related to human nature, we want everything fast. And sometimes you can have the good way. For example, if you invested in Bitcoin before the 2020, or if you buy Bitcoin at 100, probably now you would be billionaire. But there are like exceptions to the rule. Are exceptions, not the regular thing. So most of the people say when saw the strategy rise, the strategy rocketing, saying, okay, we lost the chance on strategy. Now we need to find the other strategy. So probably you can buy these companies at, it's the same that happened with shitcoins. So you most of the people think that they lost the train with Bitcoin and they are looking for Ethereum, Pepe, or all this crap on the industry, trying to find the next Bitcoin, and there is no next Bitcoin. And in my point of view, related to the Bitcoin treasury strategy, that I agree with you. There are some, probably there are many, probably the big percentage of these companies are bubbles, but the industry is not a bubble. In my opinion, what it's going to have, they are going to remain a few Bitcoin treasury companies, the ones that made the first moves in their jurisdictions. For example, Strategy in United States, for example, can be Metaplanet in Asia, some of the ones in Europe, probably Capital V or Smarter Web Company, depending also on how the strategy is executed, how their CEO believe in Bitcoin, and how sustainable is the other kind of business. Because, for example, Smarter Web has another kind of business and has the Bitcoin treasury strategy. So that's what I think. And again, we cannot talk about bubble and something that is over only studying 3 months of time, probably 2 months of time, because how many times Bitcoin crashed 90% and then recover even faster? So I think that they're gonna, yes.
Yeah, and again, it's a bubble in terms of price, because I believe that Nakamoto is surviving, that Nakamoto will continue to do their own business, they will continue to accumulate capital, and buying Bitcoin, and they can also be successful. I'm not saying that Nakamoto is going to zero. I'm saying that if you see those kind of price action on the share price of an equity, it's bubble territory, meaning that it's unsustainable. So I think Nakamoto will continue. I'm sure that they will never reach 1 million, not even in 100 years. It's impossible that one company starting now with 5,000 BTC can reach 1 million, because it's in 10 years will be, I don't know, probably 50 billion, maybe even more. No, it's even more today. So it will be like, I don't know, $1 trillion. It's impossible, but Nakamoto will be successful. So.
And do you think that what can happen, because this YouTuber was also telling that, of course, the value of a company was 500 million and the value of the Bitcoin that the company has is 700 million, something like that. So the company was trading at MNAV under 1, something that cannot be sustainable over time. Do you think that we are going to see these companies being acquired by other companies? Because if you see that, if you buy the company with all the Bitcoin at the price of as MNAV under 1, let's say Strategy is buying Bitcoin cheaper than the market price. So do you think that this can happen, that there are going to be Bitcoin treasury companies buying others that went down in stock price?
So I think it is possible. I'm not seeing strategy as the leading player in doing so, because I think also Saylor and the team said multiple times they don't want to do this. Because again, on paper is as you said, the MNAV is below 1, so technically I have a discount, so it's better to buy the company instead of buying Bitcoin. But then if you buy the company, you need to spend a bit of, some months to do due diligence. You need to spend months with lawyers. You need to see the capital structure. You need to pay out maybe some external shareholder. You need to integrate the other company. It's not easy as it might look. It's complicated doing an M&A. It's complicated to do due diligence. So no, I think strategy will never do. Maybe Metaplanet or other company that want to diversify and they need to find new way, maybe to enter other jurisdiction, to expand. Maybe can be a strategic way. And Nakamoto, by the way, is this exact idea. They want to have the holding in Nakamoto and then Nakamoto buying shares or other company, executing the strategy in other jurisdiction and try to build this kind of network effect on the States. But if they go well below 1 and they cannot, regain momentum and traction, I'm not sure if strategy would be interested, to be honest. Unless it's super streamlined with one employee and no offices, no liabilities, everything is clear, then maybe yes. But if it's a personnel, company, offices, etc., no.
Yes, but at the end of the day, of course, no financial advice, just our own opinions. I think that you agree, there is no bubble. The Bitcoin Treasury companies are here to stay. It's a very new industry from like a few months, not even 1 year. And we are going to see many companies fail, many companies rise. It's capitalism, my friend. The capitalism is like this. So if a company fails, it is what it is. It's part of the game. But I do agree with you that this is not a bubble. The industry is not a bubble. They are not shit coins, but people needs to study, do their own diligence, and understand something that I always say is the safest bet you can do is Bitcoin on self-custody.
Easy. Yeah, 100%. And again, keeping staying on the same topic, I think when you feel in the air euphoria, when you feel in the air that everyone is so smart and doubling their money in 3 days, this is the exact moment in which you should stop and eventually consider to exit. Mm-hmm. And on the contrary, those days are when we see big depression, when we see the whole industry is going to zero, blah, blah, maybe it's a good time to study. And if you're interested in some equities, do your own research. And then if you want, it's better to buy at very compressed MNAP territory than at 10 MNAP territory.
That's the point.
Yeah, so people need to reframe their mindset and completely reasoning on the opposite.
That's the point. Again, that's the thing. I think that when it comes to investing, first of all, you need to think the long term. You cannot think in 2 months because it's nothing, especially with this new industry. And don't invest all your money. Invest all the money, only the money you can afford to lose, and always have a bag. Always have some cash when this happen. If you can find some opportunities and invest. Again, you don't have to buy when it's the euphoria. You need to buy when there is blood on the streets. Exactly. Even this blood is your blood. So that's my conclusion.
Yeah, we want to move on the other topic, Fernando?
Yes, it's Capital B. Last week I spoke with Alexander Laiset in our podcast in Spanish, and he was mentioning about...
Yes.
Sorry?
Tell me more, because I didn't have the chance to listen to the podcast yet.
Basically, what I tried to do was, first of all, talk general topics, because the Spanish audience is like, let's see, the Spanish audience is, and it's not something that I'm a critic to them, but is in the Spanish market, the Spanish audience, we are like the same point that we were like probably 2-3 years ago. So not many people understand, because there are other problems, and people study other things. So I wanted to, first of all, talk in general about treasury companies, the metrics of treasury companies, what do the treasury companies do? And something that I forgot to mention. When you go to invest, check that there are three different companies. One are the Bitcoin treasury companies. The other are just companies that buy Bitcoin and put on the balance sheet, and the companies that don't buy Bitcoin, that these companies will die for sure. But that's the point. And then talk about the strategy of Capital B, their goals, how they are managing. It was a very nice conversation. I had a great feedback from the community, from my community in the Spanish. In fact, one guy subbed me 1.5 thousand sats. That is amazing. Again, if you want to watch it, if someone who speaks Spanish want to watch it, is in our Spanish YouTube channel, Libertarian BTC ESP, so you can find it. But yeah, it was great. And he spoke about their debt, how do they raise capital, and the most interesting thing that they have some kind of debt denominated in Bitcoin. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the specific difference between Capital B and the other treasuries, first of all, is the biggest one or the most strategic one in Europe. So in the Eurozone. And as of today, we cannot, as European, have many of those companies, especially very clear, very focused on Bitcoin and try to, do the sailor playbook in Europe.
Well,
So for
in fact,
sure,
in fact, Alex, they execute the playbook, sailor's playbook at millimeter. So their website looks the same as a strategy website. It's not
beautiful
a
web,
critic. And Alex is always with his suit, his
orange tie.
white shirt, and his orange tie. So
Orange
that's
tie.
amazing.
Yeah. So I think, yes, they have done these Bitcoin denominated bonds, which is different from, the other convertible that we saw in the US, which is USD based. So they decided to go with this kind of instrument, which is with the same. So the idea is to have the same alignment between asset and liabilities, both in Bitcoin. And by reasoning, I think it's smart when we face a potential bear market. Because if you have a bear market and then you have the asset that is depreciating a lot, and you have a fixed amount of debt which is in fiat, if you enter in the wrong moment, you might get called out because you suffer Bitcoin depreciating, but the debt is fixed. So if you don't play well with the leverage, you can be in a financial stress. By doing BTC denominated bonds, both asset and liabilities move with a sort of correlation. So you are in a safer situation if there is a bear market to be able to repay potentially the debt holder. And I think it's very interesting also the instrument, because they were able to secure a 5 years maturity bonds, convertible, but 5 years in terms of maturity, which is even longer than strategy, because strategy is around 4. 0% interest rate as strategy with their converts. And 30% premium. Sometimes strategy even got, I think, 35 or 40. So 30% premium is lower than other bigger players. So overall, I think the market structure of Capital B is very solid. This mismatch is reduced. So maybe on the upside is less interesting, but on the downside, maybe Capital B will be pretty strong, I would say. It will suffer, but it will be stronger than other companies.
And let me point one thing, talking about again, when you invest in a company, especially this kind of companies, you need to check how the CEO understand, and how maxi the CEO is, and how he or she understand Bitcoin. And to be honest, Alex is a guy that is super smart, and he also knows a lot about Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoiner. He's a Bitcoin maxi. He talks a lot about Bitcoin. He understands the game 100%. Again, this is no financial advice, no endorsement. I'm not receiving money from them, but that's my vision. is he knows a lot about Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoin maxi, and he communicates with a lot of passion. So that's a good sign for Capital B.
Yeah, and going to the chart of the MNAV, which is kind of the synthesis of the momentum on a specific equity on the Bitcoin side. This is the chart over the last 1 year, more or less. Capital B started probably more than 1 year ago with their own strategy.
No, in November
November 2024.
November 2024.
Let's say it's almost 1 year.
Yeah.
So we see, this is the MNAV. So the floor, the lowest point was April 4 at 1.6. Then it skyrocketed again, expanding like crazy at 12. And then now it's down back to 1.7. So if we see these charts, it's kind of erased all kind of, euphoria. And then now we need to see if they are able to sustain the 1.7 or if they go to the 1.5 and eventually go closer to 1. Because again, if you cannot sustain higher growth in the Bitcoin acquisition, it's very possible that your company is going gravitationally to 1. So now it's a key moment. If you believe in the company, not financial advice, if you believe in the company at 1.6, 1.7 area, which is the lowest of the MNAV, might be a good trigger point to enter. If you don't believe it, or if you are more cautious, you need to see if the company can sustain the 1.5x. Because if it goes below, it's possible it is going to 1. Because also strategy now is trading 1.6, 1.5. In the past, it went below 1. In 2022, strategy went below 1. So if strategy went below 1, it's possible to go around 1. Then it's your capability to change the narrative, gain back momentum with Bitcoin, and growing higher.
Yes, at the end of the day, I think that all these companies, as long they can acquire sustainable amount of reasonable amount of Bitcoin without diluting the shares and increasing. The most important thing is increasing the Bitcoin per share, the Satoshis per share, while they can have a MNAV over 1. Because when Bitcoin spikes, that will be spiking. Now, Bitcoin is not volatile, it's moving, but there will be a spike on Bitcoin, for sure.
Very possible, yes.
I mean a spike not going to 1 million, but probably a jump situating between 130, 150. If the MNAV is over 1 and the Bitcoin per share is increasing, this is going to be reflected in the price of a stock. So that's the point.
Yeah, and I think also this chart, Fernando, is pretty interesting because for the first time over the last 6 months, the market cap, what we saw before was the fully diluted shareholder value. So with all the shares that might enter in the market, fully diluted, and we had this 1.7 multiple to the NAV. In this case, we have the market cap of the company and the Bitcoin NAV of their own assets. So we saw here that it went below for the first time after probably a brief, downside in April 3, April 4, and 5. And if we see this chart, and we still believe in Bitcoin, we still believe in the capacity of a specific Bitcoin equities to raise capital and keep the flywheel again, the flywheel effect, it normally signals some kind of good entry point. Again, not financial advice. I don't own Capital B. I'm not endorsing any specific stock. But if we see those two charts combined, I think it might be interesting for new investor now when everything is flushed out, no euphoria, to study and to see if there is opportunity for them in the market.
Yes, and of course, always having a long-term perspective. This is it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And again, we don't talk about, if you want to become rich doing trading, day trading, is impossible. Warren Buffett is is known as the best investor of all time. I don't agree with that because he talks shit about Bitcoin. But let's see that he's
96.
I don't care. That's like the point. Again, let's see. He probably he's like the football players of the 80s. But again, like if how he made his fortune, he's not a day trader. He buys and hold. He buys and hold. He buys and hold. He is good at reading these things that we were showing. When there are opportunities to buy, that's the most, I think that this is the most important when you study financial markets prior to make an investment. Study the parameters that will show you when is a good time to enter, not day trading, not these things, because at the end of the day, for me, day trading is like going to the casino, and the casino always wins. So that's the thing, and especially when you are a retail investor, that you are fighting with huge whales and you are a small
tiny fish.
fish. So that's the thing. I think that you need to study before investing, study fundamentals, and study when to enter. When is the opportunity to enter? And hold. Simple.
Yeah, especially now with Bitcoin, we had this opportunity to
again,
saving technology.
And again, these companies, of course, probably if you enter in a bad moment, probably you won't recover the money. But if you don't want to follow to take this risk, go with Bitcoin. You can enter with Bitcoin now and wait for 4 years, no financial advice, and you're gonna be in profit. So again,
yeah, there was this interesting chart. I think was done by Bitwise lately, analyzing all the on-chain, all the data on Bitcoin, and they said that if you before was the 4-year cycle, now it's coming like a bit lower. So over the last 3 years, if you have bought Bitcoin, only 0.7% of people would be not in profit. If you do ECA, etc., with some ratio, but 99.3% will be in profit in just 3 years in a big way. And I think there is no other, asset class or equity or whatever that can guarantee you that kind of, safety. So
of course, yes. So anything else to discuss, or
yeah, maybe if we have like 5 more minutes, we can discuss about. There was in New York the unconference. I was out for like a couple of days for a conference. I was attending to a conference, so I didn't check everything. I didn't follow all the speeches, but I think one of the most debated one was once again the proof of reserves for Bitcoin equities. So maybe I just give my idea, and then Fernando, I'm eager to learn also your position. But in my view, is that again, when you buy an equity, you buy a company, you buy something that is regulated by traditional financial markets, that you buy the potentiality that this company is growing more in the future, trust in the management, in etc. And you have the representation with the shares of the company. You don't have any claim on the Bitcoin that those companies are accumulating on your behalf. So the company are already audited, are already under certain regulatory framework and regime. They are, audited every three months, and so to me, requesting the full transparency or the on-chain wallets for the company to be disclosed to the market, I think is wrong, because they are not an exchange. They are not doing custody of the Bitcoin on your behalf. They are buying Bitcoin for themselves, and you as a shareholder, you agree on the mission on the company.
Of course, I see.
So for me, there is if a company like MetaPlanet is doing it, great for them, great for their shareholder if this is what they want. But asking strategy, asking Semler, asking I don't know, a miner, etc., to do an on-chain analysis on or all their wallet, etc., to me is nonsense, because you are buying a representation of a share of the company, not the actual claim of the Bitcoin. So there is no point to push it forward.
Again, I think the same to you, because it's the same as if you have stocks in any company to check how much money do they have in cash or something like that. So I think that, as you said, you are buying a company, you are buying an asset, and the company can do whatever they want. And again, you need to do the due diligence, and this is something that, again, as we said, is trust in the CEO, trust in the vision of the company, and trust if they are going to be able to achieve their objective. So I think that proof of reserves is not something that is important, but if the
And
company
again,
wants to do,
the
yeah,
Bitcoin is an open market of ideas as well, and we have like big, amazing people doing analysis on chain analysis, and I think already Arkham Intelligence spotted out like 95% of Strategy's wallet. So again, if you don't believe them, go on chain, go on those platforms. I think it's completely free, and you can see that they almost reconcile 95% plus of those wallets. So Strategy has the Bitcoin, of course, otherwise Sailor goes to jail. So I don't know.
of course, that's the point. The only thing I care is their capacity of keep raising money, buying Bitcoin without diluting so much the stock and without doing acquiring a lot of debt. So if they can, that's the main thing. Then of course I am not going to ask proof of reserve. So that's my point. So I think that we are done for today. Let's see if next week we are going to be live on Sunday. I think same time, 5 p.m. Hong Kong time, 11 a.m. Italy time. I hope that Diego joins and Andre joins. So we are the four horsemen. So let's see. But anyways, you know that all the episodes are online on YouTube and Rumble every Monday, 9 p.m. Hong Kong time, 3 p.m. Central European time. Marco, what's your social media?
Mainly on X, Battistoshi93. And if people want just to check also the podcast that we launch with Andrea, the name is Escape Velocity Podcast. We mainly talk about, Bitcoin adoption, Bitcoin as a new, amazing financial tool of freedom for people, and also some Bitcoin equities analysis and other that is around the space.
Excellent. Thank you, Marco. Have a great Sunday and see you next week.
Yeah, you too, Fernando. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, thumbs up, share it, try to support us. The best way to support us is subscribing to our channel, liking the episodes, commenting, and sharing them. So that's the best way to support us. It's free, doesn't cost time, doesn't cost money, only a few seconds of your day. So that's the best way to support us. Follow us on our social media, our X, the Bitcoin _, our YouTube channel in English, Libertarian BTC, our YouTube channel in Spanish, Libertarian BTC ESP, our Patreon, the Bitcoin Libertarian, our Instagram, the Bitcoin Libertarian. Share this episode with the people you love. Share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and onboard them to Bitcoin. See you in the next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi.